Welcome to the Cricket Betting Podcast. This is the only podcast which tells you exactly what happens in the T20 World Cup semi-finals. I'm Ed Hawkins, and we've been telling you exactly what happens in the T20 World Cup and other games besides in 2026 to a ridiculous, massive 73.8 profits for the year so far. So why are you not getting involved with the Cricket Betting Podcast? We are brought to you by BetWright. And because we are brought to you by BetWright, we have a £10 free Acca with the code Acca10 thanks to this podcast. More details on that later. We do give you an Acca to follow, which will pay about 12.5 grand for a £10 stake. So stay tuned for that. Those massive profits come from the best bets. The best bets come at the end of the show, and they come from South Africa versus New Zealand, India versus England. It is crunch time, so Paul and Richard will be also naming the winner and the runner-up. But let's go straight to Richard Mann, the coolest man for crunch time. He's 42.7 points up this year. Hello, Richard. Smashing it.
Evening, Ed. Yeah, things are going well, but 3 massive games to go and some outright positions as well that we're all getting a little bit nervous on. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of those outright positions. Just as cool as Paul Krishnamurty, plus 31.1, also smashing it. Hello, Paul.
Hi, Ed. Yeah, it's been a good start to the year. Last few days have been a bit grim, but hopefully we've got that little bad run out of the way before the big games.
Right, though, we'll start off with an outright. Who wins the T20 World Cup? Well, India 5-4 favourites with Ladbrokes Coral, AK Bets. Then South Africa 11-4 next best with AK Bets. We'll talk to you about why those two sides are clearly the best teams in the tournament for the semi-final stage. England 5-1 Star and AK, and then New Zealand 6-1 generally. Would you like to break down sides in terms of batting power and bowling economy? If you think back to our preview show, the entire tournament, when we did the team by team, we did the same. So where are we at with it? Well, batting power, South Africa are the strongest team left. They are also the strongest team in the tournament for strike rate. So number 1 ranking for them. The Kiwis are next best in the semi-final teams and also overall at second. Then you've got India in third and fourth overall. Then England are your slowest run scorers in the semi-finals, and then 9th lowest in the entire tournament. Is that a worry? Can we rule that out because they've been on some stodgy old pitches? Bowling economy, well, South Africa are top of the par for that in your 4 sides for the semi-down overall as well. Then you've got India second and third overall, England are down at 7th, and then the Kiwis down at 9th. So you can see there's a clear gap, well, goals you'd probably say, between these semi-final teams. And Rich, just looking at that outright, Dara suggests that South Africa are still the value price. It seems like we've been saying that for a while.
It does, and that this is one of the outright positions that I'm a bit nervous on. Put them up in best bets at 6-1. So obviously you look at 11-4 and you think, well, do I really need to go in again, press up again? But I think there's a smidgen of value in that 11-4. Certainly nothing that I've seen in the last few days is changing my mind. And look, to me, the best all-round side. I think you look at India, you have to accept that they're an extremely dangerous, high on potential batting lineup, and of course they could blow anyone away. We know that Abhishek gets going, but I just think you need to just look at the overall, the big picture, and on what we've seen. South Africa have been the best side so far. 11-4 is probably just about value, especially if you haven't got involved already. I think personally, we'll get onto it a little bit, but I do fancy them to beat New Zealand, and I suspect against India, given that England are sort of 6-4-ish now, South Africa might be like 5-5 played in India in a final. I thought they might be a bit bigger, but I feel if England are 6-4, I think South Africa would be shorter in a final anyway to beat India.
Paul, presumably you don't have any truck with those price order, but are India a little bit too short? Or do we think South Africa, like Rich does, slightly too big?
I do have a slight difference of opinion with the betting order. I think New Zealand have got at least an equal chance to England, to be perfectly honest with you. I do think that South Africa are the best team in it. They have been the best team in it. And your batting and bowling stats actually speak volumes, because the batting stats aren't a shock at all, because they've been playing at Ahmedabad. They've been playing every game they've played has been on a good batting pitch, right? But for them to be number one bowling economy, given the pitches, that's outstanding. That's really outstanding. For me, they're the best team. The only thing I guess is we're at that stage of the tournament. Have they peaked too early? It only takes one bad half hour, doesn't it? And the whole game changes. But they are the value for me. As I say, I would have England bigger than New Zealand, I think, because I really think that India are overwhelming favourites against them.
Right. Talking about England, our headline tip on the Cricket Betting Podcast was England 5-2 to make the final. Now, we were happy with that price because we saw the rationale that they would get out of that Super 8 group, which was far easier, and they'd make it to the last four. And then you had 5-2 about an England team when they'd be going off much shorter. Rich and Paul, let's get your view. I mean, they are shorter than 5-2. They're 7-4 with Hills. Rich, I'll come to you first. Are we letting it run, or are we gonna?
I would. I mean, if
Yeah.
obviously you hope that the West Indies did us a favour on Sunday, and they probably missed a trick on a couple of occasions, and England would obviously be favourite, and then we would probably be looking to do that. But we've done the right thing, given the draw, haven't we? Look, end of the day, we thought they had a really good draw to get through, and that's proved to be the case. I mean, you compare them to West Indies again. I know I was quite sweet on them, but the calibre of opposition the West Indies have had to come up against, and really they've probably been the fourth best team in the competition. England have had a sweet ride, really, but we identified that, and that's why we felt they were a good price. From 5-2 to 7-4, I'd be minded to just let it go. Now I think they've got a puncher's chance anyway, and fingers crossed our faith is repaid.
Paul, any strategies for that bet for those users that have taken that 5-2?
Well, I mean, it's proof here that we haven't actually discussed this yet between us. The fact that we're saying this, personally, I'd get out. I feel they've been very fortunate to get where they are, England. I think they've been poor, and it's really annoying in a way that they got over the line against New Zealand when they looked like they were going to lose, because if they were playing South Africa, they'd be much shorter. And, if they were 5-4 against South Africa, I'd be saying lay that all day long. But I still personally would get out because I don't fancy them at all.
I think England's main problem is they've been playing on slow, turgid wickets. They've got used to that. They've been playing attritional cricket, haven't they? And they've now got to switch to a venue which is completely different in style. They've got to be all guns blazing suddenly. And India have had time and game time on those types of wickets. So India have got a big advantage anyway because they're at home, but they've got a massive advantage because they're tuned up for that type of wicket. And England are not. And that is a big problem for them. Not least Butler, Bethel, two of the top three, just not doing it. We'll look at those games in detail. New Zealand versus South Africa, India versus England. We've got team news, pitch reports, strategies, trades, nuggets, and the players to follow, those win rates that we like to go on about. We'll find some value there. We've got the BetWright boost as well. Now, we've requested some special boosts from BetWright because there are players that we fancy. So stay tuned for those previews. As I said, Paul and Rich will name the winner and runner-up. I think we've got some clues how that's going to go. Don't forget to sub up to our VIP channel, please, in the comments section below if you want to get winners to your device. In play, pre-toss, early bird value. There'll be early bird value going out after we've produced this pod. There'll be more bets going in tomorrow, no doubt. There's bets been going in today for these semi-finals. And also, please do support the Cricket Betting Podcast to come back every week by subscribing to BetWright, please. We can't give you those incredibly profitable best bets every week unless we get some help with our sponsors. That is BetWright, so go and check them out, please. We've got those BetWright boosts for you. We've also got that Acca bet. So let's begin. South Africa versus New Zealand, Wednesday, 13:30, Eden Gardens. South Africa 8-18, AK bets 6-4. The Kiwis boil South Africa lineup like this: Markram, Kock, Rippleton, Brevis, Miller, Stubbs, Janssen, Bosch, Maharaj, Rabada, and Wankhede, very settled. The Kiwis: Seifert, Allen, Ravindra, Chapman, Phillips, Mitchell, Santner, McConchy, Henry, Ferguson, and I've got Duffy coming back into this team for Ish Sodhi. South Africa run 4 in your last 10, 176. They're conceding an average of 159. Kiwis are scoring 186 and conceding 179. South Africa lost 3 of the last 4 against New Zealand, but they did beat them by 7 wickets in the group stage. It wasn't much of a contest. Rich, I put belter of a game, but is it a belter of a game, actually? Saka's just going to steamroller this Kiwi team. But actually, we'll come back to that question. But does that group result show that there is a massive gulf there, or are the Kiwis with a little bit off the ball in that game?
Well, you say that, but then they've been off the ball since as well, haven't they? So, they lost the game against England that they were in a really strong position in. Got away with one leg as well in the game before, didn't they, with Santner batting heroics. I've been a bit underwhelmed by them sort of over the last week or so, actually, having originally thought they were pretty good. As you say, South Africa steamrolled them. And actually, if you look at that game as well, I actually thought the result flattered New Zealand a little bit because they got a really good start with the bat. I think they were 40 for naught very quickly. And South Africa still dragged them back. I think it was 175. And South Africa really did it at a canter, flying start from their opening pair again. Lost a few wickets in the middle, but never ever looked like they might surrender that advantage. It was about as one-sided as you'll get, really, after the first few hours of New Zealand's batting. We'll talk about in a sec potential toss bias here, but even with that, South Africa just looked at far too many guns.
Yeah, in play, by the way, New Zealand historically in ICC tournaments, terrible front runners get themselves into winning positions in big games and then make a mistake and it all goes wrong. Paul, we're often keen on the Kiwis because we get inflated odds against, but 6-4 here is perhaps not as big as it should be.
I think it's right, to be honest. I think, look, I completely agree with Rich about that group game. It was massively one-sided. It really doesn't do South Africa's dominance justice the margin. But it was only one game on a different pitch. And the fact that there could be a toss bias here is important. And as I said before, I mean, as much as I'm not going to make any case against South Africa, we're in the knockout stage now. Right, and maybe they peaked early. Maybe New Zealand haven't peaked yet. They're not a team I would write off New Zealand, even though clearly so far they have been inferior.
Well, let's do that ground guide for Eden Gardens. 8 of your last 11 night games won by the team batting second. That's the toss bias we're referring to. The RPO in those games is 7.9. India chased 195. With relative ease, a little bit of a wobble. Windy shortened up a bit when the rate was getting up to towards 12 and over at one stage, but Sanju Samson was never really flustered. Last 10 T20I in all conditions, 167.6. First innings average, Yeah, average number of sixes in those games is 13.3. Paul, what have you got on the ground?
Well, often in these tournaments, what happens is you get angles galore with the grounds, with the runs and the sixes, but you get to this point and the bookies are just on it. I mean, Eden Gardens is a road. We know it from the IPL. I think it's the single most consistent ground for getting 175, 180 plus over the years. It's very, very few low scores there. And it's small and you get a lot of games with a lot of sixes. But the lines are high. I mean, they're 364.5 total match runs, right? So, New Zealand bat first, and as in the Ahmedabad game, which is another road, they only get 175, you're done. You're not going to get to 364.5. And for sixes, it's 18.5, which again, I mean, just to look at the games so far at Eden Games, that's only one out of 6 games. But there was a 202, 178. That's the only one where they beat 18.5. So I wouldn't back unders here just because I know the ground, but the lines are high enough for me.
Alrighty. That's Paul's a bit of a maestro on the grounds, as we all know. Rich, anything from you in terms of what's happening off the pitch?
Yeah, well, I mean, the both teams to score market. Paul's right. People have cottoned on. I mean, this morning, and it certainly wasn't my money, but BetWright went 3-1 about both teams to score 180. The Flutter firms were 9-5. BetWright have taken that market down now, and the Flutter firms are 7-5 for both teams to score 180. Like Paul says, there's no dice in that for me. It's annoying though, because actually with the potential chaser buyers, both teams to score markets are really good because obviously, you sort of, right, I need 180 to be in the game here. And then obviously the batting team have help from conditions. So that's frustrating. I do like South Africa's power play though, over 55.5 with the Flutter firms. I mean, Kock and Markram and Rickleton have been absolutely flat out of the boxes. I think they passed this line after 4 overs when they played in the group stage, and everyone they've played South Africa, they've just gone hard up front. So I think 55.5 in 6 overs for South Africa looks more than gettable. South Africa highest first 6 overs just in the match is evens with BetWright. And again, I just think they've probably got too many guns, and that might be a better way to get South Africa on side. One final thing, let's note as well, Matt Henry is currently out of the country. He's gone back to New Zealand for paternity leave. New Zealand expect him to be back on Tuesday ahead of the Wednesday game. That's a big ask anyway. I'm no war monitor, but Matt Henry getting back into India, given what's going on in the world. I know it's a slightly different part of the world, but it's near enough. There've been no guarantees there. That would just be a little bit of a concern for me. So I would keep an eye and try and find out what's happening with Matt Henry, because he's not certain to get back and not certain to line up, and that would definitely affect New Zealand's chances and all these runs bets as well.
It's not great prep. No, I need that, and there's really poor prep. Obviously, circumstances are understandable, but yeah, it's a big game. It's not really ideal. Who wins the match, Paul?
I've got to stick with South Africa. They are the better team. They were completely dominant when they played before. I think that's a really good point Rich just made as well about Matt Henry. I was thinking that myself. I mean, he's critical for them. He really is critical. And as far as that first 6 overs market, I mean, absolutely bang on. There's no way that South Africa should be even money for that. Markram and Kock have been absolutely outstanding up top. And if New Zealand were without Henry, that's just a massive blow.
Yeah.
Right, Rich, same question.
Yeah, South Africa for me, even with the toss bias, but the toss bias might be enough to stop me lumping on at odds on. But I do think they're too strong, all things being equal.
Well, so any sort of movement towards even money in play if the toss goes South Africa's way and they chase, and New Zealand do get up to a good start. If you can get up to sort of 1.83 marks, something like that, even money on Betfair Exchange, South Africa, I suspect that will be a solid play to get up in the chase. Let's have one more nugget from Paul.
Yeah, well, but first, just on that point you just made, look, that happened exactly yesterday on this ground with India West Indies. We knew it was a road. West Indies made 195, and what did they drift to India there? Like 1.7, 1.8 or something. Best chasing side in the world. So definitely a good strategy. My nugget though is a much better way, I think, than getting on the outright market is South Africa to hit most sixes. No competition here. Bevet's 62 to New Zealand's 47. And, you look at that South Africa top six, they've just got power galore, right? And, well, longer than that because Bosch, Jansen and Bosch are good six hitters as well.
Rich, have you got another nugget?
No, I think that's done for me. I'm just, messing about with my best bets and South Africa first 6 hours and working out my staking.
Alrighty, let's go to players to follow. Quinton de Kock is overdue. His win rate has dropped to 23.5. But you do get a 7-2 BetWright boost from Quinton de Kock. So there is a smidge of value on Quinton de Kock to get the top bat win in. He came into this tournament close to 40%, if memory serves, from a short study sample. So his return to the mean somewhat, but certainly nothing wrong with his form. Seafoot, 37.5% win rate for the Kiwis. You're getting 33 to 10 BetMGM Virgin bet on Seafoot. Other bet right boosts for this game: Markham 11-4, Janssen 3-1 top South Africa bowler, Finn Allen 3-1 top Kiwi batsman. These are BetWright boosts for the Cricket Betting Podcast. We are keen on, I am keen on de Kock to produce. We'll see what the guys thinks about those in a minute. Bosch with the ball for top South Africa, 9-2 10 bet. That is not dead heat rules. He's got to be the bowler conceding fewest runs if that is a shared honours. Is winning 47% of the time with those rules in place. Your sixes markets, most sixes for South Africa. Malcolm Brevit's 1-3 out of the last 10 each, 9-2 and 5-2 respectively. 365 Dapperbet. Allen is your six hitter for the Kiwis. If they get him cheaply, those bets that Paul's talking about on sixes will win very comfortably indeed. I suspect he's 1-3 in the last 10. He's 15-8 clear favourite with the same firms. Just a point on Marco Janssen, 4 wickets in that group match. 11-10, 365, 2 wickets or more. Rich, what you got?
I'm with you with de Kock. It's interesting to hear what you think. I've just felt like he's been coasting his way through the group stages, to be honest. They've not really had any competition, South Africa. It was bummered in that one big game, but last week we had him, didn't we, for a 50, and he just blasted his way to 47 and then just held out at long on. It was no game for them, was it? And I do wonder if he'll just be a bit more dialed in now. I'm certain, like you say, came into it in rasping form, so I don't think he's far away at all. For the Kiwis, for best bets, we've got Glenn Phillips running for us in the outright market. He's got a bit of ground to make up, 13-2 tip, but he's batted really well throughout the tournament. He's probably still the wrong price, so hopefully he can come good. But I must mention Mitchell Santner, top Kiwi batsman, still 20-1 knocking around. He's already won once in this tournament. He generally just wins once every few, and I suspect over the last year or so, if you keep taking the big tasty prices, and he was going off like 33s and 40s 12 months ago, you definitely get a good run for your money there with Santner. So if you think South Africa are gonna win and gonna win handsomely, it could bring that middle to lower order into it, and Santner at 20s is definitely worse bets.
Alrighty, Santner, I think it's 2 wins in 25. Rich on top bat. So
20-1's fine.
yeah, there goes 8%. Paul, players to follow.
So I think we've got a lot of consensus here, actually, and it's just about what's the best way to back them. No question, Quinton de Kock is due. My problem here is that their top order is so good, I don't really want to bet top batsman. I want to back the 50. I think that's a bet. And other scenarios here are player performance. You can go at over 32.5 with Bet365, and he's wicketkeeper, of course, so he's got potential catches there.
That's one of the lowest I've seen this tournament, actually, Paul.
Very.
2.5.
Yeah, it's just a bet, isn't it? Right? If he's 25.5 runs in places, like 7 points for the wicketkeeper. But the other bet I like, you mentioned the most sixes market. He's 5-1 to hit the most sixes with Bet365 for South Africa. Now, if you look over the longer term, over 30 T20 matches, T20 or T20 internationals, he hits 2.2 sixes per game. Nobody else in the side hits 2. So he definitely is the one to beat still in that over the longer term. In 7 matches so far in that market, he's only got a tie. I just think he's due, and I mean, he hit 10 sixes in one game against West Indies last month. So there's no problem on that score. It's just a matter of when it happens.
Yeah, I know, Paul, because I've got a spread bet on his tournament sixes, and he's just not come to the party yet.
Right.
But hopefully he can put that right.
Yeah. One more thing. You mentioned Mitchell Santner. I also want to look at their middle order just in case Jansen gets injured. So another thing was Jansen. We're talking about him now. 34.5 player performance, right? That's 116 out of 29 in T20 internationals. But I think that's probably doesn't necessarily do him justice, because there's a lot of games where he hasn't had a bat, and I think we can say for certain that he's going to be a strike bowler in this game, where he hasn't always been their strike bowler. So I think 34.5, especially considering the damage he did to him last time, is a really good bet. And finally, on the New Zealand batsman, I like Daryl Mitchell at 9-1. I think he's due. Good batsman. Did okay. One of the only 2 batsmen who came out of any credit in that game against South Africa last time. Could see him doing a recovery job.
Yeah, and great form in this country, in India. Right, we promised you the BetWright Acca. BetWright will offer a Acca for the Cricket Betting Podcast listeners. Bet 10 quid, get a £10 Acca. It's new customers only. Enter the code ACCA10. It's a minimum 5-fold Acca with total odds of evens or greater. So there might not be some surprises in some of these names, or certainly no surprise in the first one which comes up. So pens and papers, are you ready, please? So the first one in our 5-fold is Quinton de Kock, top South Africa bat at 16-5. I have to take the single price on these, not the bet boost. That is one of the rules. Then we've got Bosch, top bowler for South Africa at 7-2. Seafoot, top New Zealand bat 3-1. This is very much win rate on your first 3, inspired. Then Harry Brook, top England bat 10-3, and then Archer, top England bowler at 14-5. Those 2 aren't win rates, but we will discuss in a bit why we think Brook and Archer might be doing the business. £10 stake will return you in profit 12,438 quid. So, which wouldn't be a bad couple of days' work, would it? So we are underway in our T20 World Cup special on the Cricket Betting Podcast, brought to you by BetWright, telling you exactly what happens in the semi-final number 2. Next is India versus England, of course. Please don't forget to sub up to that VIP channel in the comments section below, where more best bets come live to your device every day, in play, pre-toss, and early bird value. We're returning very healthy numbers on our PL charts as well. You also get access to VIP chat room, where bets are discussed all the time. You'll pick up some little nuggets from the guys. There's a really good community, so don't miss out on that. We've already put 2 bets up in the VIP for this game. It's India versus England, Thursday. It's from Mumbai, 13:30 Wankhede. India 8-15 favourites with AK bet 7-4 England, with Hills, as previously mentioned, Abhishek, Sampson, Kishan. Your top 3 have been canny. They've split the left-handers. They worked out that was a weakness. Sky, Tilak, Hardik, Dubé, Aksa, Arshdeep, Bumrah, Varun. Salt, Butler, Bethel is the top 3, which is just not 5 for England, is a problem. Then we've got Brook, Banton, Sammy Curran, Jacks. I think Overton comes back in for Rehan Ahmed, Dawson, Archer, Rashid. Let's talk stats. India 194 in terms of runs scored, your average runs scored, and they're conceding an average of 175. And you'll see the big gulf here in these numbers. England scoring an average of 160 and conceding an average of 155. Let's go to Paul. Is it a blockbuster, Paul? I mean, two sides which I'm really convinced, but I've got a point about that with India, and I'll come back to that in a second. What's your views on how these sides are matching up?
I don't think it's a blockbuster. I think it'll be one-sided. I mean, look, I have my issues with India. I don't think that strategically they've been playing very smart. They don't need to go hell for leather. They're trying to do something, based on IPL behaviour, basically. But they're still an absolutely class side. They're still really the team to beat in the competition. They're playing the Wankhede, where a lot of these players already play. It's their home ground, and they know inside, and they're tailor-made for it. But more to the point, England have been rubbish. England have been absolute rubbish. They've had an easy draw. The only game where you could really say they dominated, and even then they were the 146 in the first innings wasn't that great, was against Sri Lanka. Right? They could easily have lost the last two. Brook carried them through against Pakistan. They wouldn't have won without him. They'd only just got over the line with Rehan Ahmed against New Zealand. They struggled against Nepal on this ground. Right? I think they're a poor side, really. And then you have, as you've already mentioned, like the Butler and Bethel problem. I mean, look, I'm a great believer in positive thinking, right? So when we talked about Butler 2 weeks ago, and I got my bet on Butler scoring more runs than Travis Head, I was keeping the faith, and class is permanent, form is temporary. But he's gone at the game. He's been absolutely terrible. And I just can't see how you can expect England to beat India away with Butler and Bethel in that kind of form.
Yeah, Rich. I mean, India well beaten by South Africa. And my sort of point about India was that I think it's a bit of a trait of gamblers to look too hard to get a favourite beat. And I think that is probably what might have been happening with India running up to this game. That 11 they can put out, it's just man for man. It's so much better than England. Paul's mentioned Butler's problems. Bethel's not done it in this format. I like Banton. I like Banton in a franchise. Against India at the Wankhede in the semi-final. And then you got Sam Curran in the middle order. It's a bit sort of franchisey with England against a team which has got all bases covered.
Yeah, I mean, the point about India is something I've been wrestling with sort of the last day or so, really, because I started at the start of the tournament. I said, right, we can get these beat. And I think South Africa can put it up to them. And in a way, I've been proven right, and they've put it up to them and they've beaten them. But here we are, India are still in the semi-finals and they're still favourites for the competition. So part of me's wanting to go after them again, and maybe that is silly. I think you're dead right about getting another right-hander in there. It's made a massive difference to that top order. Like, for instance, if looking at it, if it was first South Africa in a final, I can't see Markham opening the bowling now because Samson will probably take him on. So straight away, they've negated that. Look, it is a stronger 11 than England's, but England have some tactical advantage. India don't really have a good six bowling option. If someone can get at them, say Brook got in and really stretched them, I'd worry about India's six bowler. Whereas, to be fair to England, they've probably got Jacks, who's actually done a really good job, won them the game against Sri Lanka. So they might see that as a bit of an advantage. Awful lot of pressure on India now. I know it was a knockout game against the West Indies, and I thought they handled it pretty well, but it was one man who carried them. I mean, the rest of the batting, Tilak maybe, but I mean, I thought Sky was unconvincing. But a semi-final against India in Mumbai, I mean, that is big pressure. No Virat, no Rohit. We'll see how they stand up to it. It's interesting how England got it. I mean, really, it's a free shot for England, isn't it? It should be. no one really expects them to win, and you think they could just come out and be free and aggressive. So I think England have got a puncher's chance for a few things in their favour, but you have to accept man to man, particularly in India. India do look the stronger 11 by far.
Yeah, let's have a look at the ground guide. It's the Wankhede. It's 6 of 11 night matches won by the team batting second, so there's no toss bias for either skipper to really worry about. 9.35 RPO. We're expecting runs. Despite that, they'll just be a little bit wary. Both teams to score 1 at 80. Has actually won only 3 in the last 11. Last 10, all conditions at this ground. 190 is the average score batting first. 18.76 is average per match. Paul, what have you got?
Well, the thing about the Wankhede is it's a small ground. You generally get a lot of sixes there, but what you also generally get is something for the new ball with the new ball. And again, I would very much worry about England's top order here. Over the years, we have developed a very reliable strategy of backing overs on runs in the second half of the innings in the IPL. Now, without a batting sub, I think you probably got to leave it a bit later. But even in the lower scoring games in this tournament, if you bet overs over the last 7 or 8 overs of the first innings on innings runs, you would have made money. One thing I would say here, though, again, sorry to just be completely down England here, but Betfair have got their runs at 181.5. Well, they got 184 against Nepal on this ground. They got 166 against the West Indies, right, who are not a renowned bowling attack. Are they really 181.5 against Bumrah, Arshdeep, Varun, who's got a fantastic record against them? I can't have it.
These knives are out, aren't they?
Oh,
Yeah.
he's very down on England. Rich, you got anything on the pitch before I come back with something which might cheer Paul up a bit?
Yeah, well, what you were saying was really interesting. Again, it's something you're going to have to watch him play, and it's something Paul's mentioned. But we've sometimes seen the Wankhede this year, but particularly in the IPL. Remember, Paul, first innings, it can be really hard work, and you can get a really low score and then an easy run chase second time around. I think you've got to really be on your toes in terms of the pitch. Watch that toss report, find out if it's a new, if it's a used. It's not always a complete run fest. And it has spun there a little bit as well, this World Cup as well. And that actually brings in sort of a bit of a nugget. Will Jack's player performance 32.5 with 32.5 with Bet365. This is his home ground in the IPL, Mumbai Indians. Jax has bowled really well so far, 7 wickets, and he batted great, averaging 60. Got them out of the hole, actually, England, on this very ground against Nepal. Bought 32.5. Just about a bet. When you go through the last 10, I think he's winning so 6 out of 9. But I think more so here, England will need him here. They'll need the 6 bowler, and he's batting. He's going to get in, isn't he? I mean, they're not going to only lose 3 or 4 wickets. So I think given it's spun here all season, Jax could be well in the game.
Yeah, right. Just to come back to on what you're saying there, absolutely about the ground. It hasn't always been a run fest recently. But again, these lines are very high. So Bet365 have first innings runs at 199.5. Right? Well, there's only been 1 200 in the tournament so far, and only 2 190s. And that, I mean, look, you know what I think of England. I'm not going to repeat that. But that's England's hope. England's hope is they win the toss, put India in, do damage with the new ball, because you do often get good bowling conditions early, and then they've got a squeak if they can hit. But the run lines are pretty high for me.
Right. In that terms of how do England win the game, Paul set it up quite nicely, actually, because England are the second most potent new ball side in the tournament in terms of wickets taken. So you've got to get at that top 3. You've got to get them out quickly. Abhishek, Ishan, Samson, knocked 3 over nice and early. Jofra Archer, for me, has to have a big game. He's got a very good record against left-hand bats. So we will come back to him, no doubt, and I'll ask Richard on that point. I've got a question to Paul about who wins the match, but I think Paul's made himself unavailable for that question. Rich, who wins?
I think India win. I think England at the moment 7-4-ish. Potentially could be a bit bigger come the day if loads of Indian money come. I'm not sure England are a terrible 2-1 one shot in a T20 match, given that they do have match winners in the side. I think if it's a good pitch, it'll certainly suit someone like Phil Solo, who I just think has looked sick at playing on these slow pitches in Colombo. Brook, Archer, Rashid. The bowling's actually held up pretty well, albeit this is an acid test on a different surface. But bowling's actually looked the stronger suit, hasn't it? We had doubts coming into it, but Dawson's been brilliant, gone at just over 7 and over, and he's bowled most of his overs in the power play. Archer been brilliant. As you were saying, I think he'll bowl 3 up front, Archer again, and just try and knock them over. So, nearer 2-1, I think England have got a puncher's chance. I'm going to go against Paul.
All right, Paul, you got anything else to happen in the match? I mean, you've done the pitch, you've done the runs. We know what you think about the match result.
I think most sixes, India. Again, BetWright are going 7-10 India. They're 69.52 up in the tournament. Oh, and also, I would just add 4-5 highest opening partnership India. I just don't see with Butler in this form. You've got to back India.
Okay. Rich, one more thing that happens in the match?
Keep an eye on Varun Chakravarti just generally in the game, be it PP or other things. I mean, his record against England, superb, 14 wickets and 5 T20s. He may be one for sort of by 2-3 wickets if you can get it.
Right, let's move on to player bets now. Got some sixes numbers for you. Just kick off. Salt has won 3 from 10. Kishan has won 4 from 10. 11-4. The pair 365 Dapper bet. Most England sixes, India sixes, respectively. Abhishek is 7-2. Hill Sky Bet Power hasn't really delivered yet, but still strong on win rate. Keen on Archer, and you get 3-1. Hills top England bowler. BetWright boost now at our request. Suryakumar Yadav is 4-1 by BetWright. Salt boosted to 7-2. That's too big on win rate. We've also got on request Harry Brook at 4-1. Paul, why keen on Brook and Yadav?
Well, firstly with Brook, that market, there's got to be a bit of value because Butler's joint favourite and out of form and baffles a contender. You don't want to back an opener at Mumbai for the aforementioned reasons. About it's much harder to bat early, much better to bat in the second half of the innings, and that's where Sky comes in, who has an absolutely fantastic record here for Mumbai. And not only would I want to bet, because he's going to come in at 4, you'd hope he's going to be batting in that final 10 overs when sixes galore tend to happen. And I would not only back him for top batsman at 4-1, but over 1.56s at 6-4 would yield a substantial profit year on year at this ground.
Okay, Rich, who's your spot? I think it's got related to Varun Chakravarti, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's very interesting power play, and I know play performance 20.5, but the other market, bigger price. I know you've been flagging this up. A great market to play. Bet365, Betway. You can just bet 2 wickets or more. What did I say? They're 14 wickets in 5 T20s against England. So that's makes big value to take 2 wickets or more, doesn't it? If England have had an issue, it's against spin. I do think Jacks, I know I've mentioned him already, he's 16-1 top England bat. He's averaging 16 in the tournament. And if you're worried about the top order, then that's got to be a bit of value. He's actually 22s as well with the flutter firms from man of the match. Will Jacks, I mean, that would need England to win the game. But I think 16-1 top England bat coming in number 7 is very interesting. And India batting wise, I do agree about Sky. Hardik Pandya 12-1 general. I'd want a right hander, I think, for India, because I think Acca's going to go hard at those lefties up front, as you've just said, Ed. And as we always say, it does suit a finisher here. And Hardik's batted pretty well. He's been hitting plenty of sixes, so maybe he's a bit of value. To him and Jacks, maybe 16s and 12s.
Alrighty, those are your player best bets done, or some of the best picks. Not quite the best bets, and not quite time for the best bets either. We're going to come back to Richard and Paul for the winner and runner-up plays. I don't think there's going to be any surprises here, Rich.
I'm sticking, as I've said, all through the tournament. South Africa win the competition, and I've got them beating England in the final. I can't change now.
Paul.
Sticking with mine, South Africa to beat India.
Well, we do have consensus. There you go. We'll tell you exactly what happens in the two T20 World Cup semi-finals. I wonder if we might even get some content out for the T20 World Cup final as well. Stay tuned for that. But Rich and Paul at the moment saying South Africa beat India in the final. So it is best bets time. Both Rich and Paul have 5 units to spend each. So let's go to Richard Mann.
Okay, I'll kick off then. 2 points. South Africa, highest first 6 overs against New Zealand. Even money, that's with BetWright. And then going over to, the India versus England game, I'll have a point on Will Jacks over 32.5 player performance points at 5 to 6 bet 365. And I'll have half a point. Will Jacks topping on batsman at 16-1, AK bet, Bresbet priced up. Half a point, Will Jacks man of the match at 22-1, flutter. And then my last full point, 1 point, Hardik Pandya top at India batsman at 12-1. That's general price.
Paul.
Okay, so first of all, a double, both with BetWright. So this is a 2 points double on South Africa to score the most sixes at 4-5. And India to score the most sixes at 7-10. Another double now, 1.5 points double. This is with Bet365. Under 383.5 total match runs, England v India. And Marco Jansen over 34.5 player performance in the South African-New Zealand game. And then the remaining 1.5 points, Sky Yadav to hit over 1.5 sixes at 6-4 with Bet365.
There you go. Those are the best bets for the Cricket Betting Podcast. Don't forget to sign up to that VIP channel in the comments section below to get bets straight to your device and win very healthily as well. Really strong ROI on there. You can check out the VIP chat room. You can check out the VIP PL tracker. Please sign up to BetWright if you want to support the Cricket Betting Podcast. Also sign up to the free Telegram channel as well in the comments section below. We may come back with something for the final. We're probably going to go away and have a discussion about that at some point. But we will be back next week. The IPL's not far off, This has been the Cricket Betting Podcast. We'll see you next time.